the Amazon rainforest calls us with a call that only we dare to answer. Many people know it as the lungs of the world, but who really understands its meaning? This green, vibrant color hides secrets mixed with the essence of life. In that vast expanse of trees and rivers is an untouched universe, guarded by ancient spirits and tribes that keep unchanging traditions alive. It's a world where the boundaries between fact and fiction are blurred, where every step in the forest relives centuries of untold stories. Now click like and subscribe to the channel. It will help us a lot. This fascination is not only for its greatness, but for the mystery that surrounds each plant, each animal, and each thing that emerges from its depths. What is inside, in the heart of this forest that seems to breathe in its own songs? For indigenous people, each leaf and each branch has a soul, a story. They know that the Amazon is more than a natural resource. It is a global intellectual space that defies the standards of any research about countries we can imagine. And who are we to doubt? Many believe that the trees, tall and firm, hold the knowledge of the ancestors, while the deep water, the dark rivers, hold secrets that few dare to reveal. Some explorers and scholars say that, in their travels, they have felt the presence of something beyond the physical, as if the forest itself was watching them. There are those who say, for example, that certain areas are avoided even by natives, who are protected by invisible forces. This impossible feeling makes anyone wonder, what do we really know about Amazon? When entering this forest, each leaf whispers that there is more behind than meets the eye. There is a place where curiosity turns into admiration and fear into respect. The forest awaits those who dare to uncover its mysteries, but it reveals its secrets only to those who respect it deeply. Let's then go ahead and discover the curves that make the Amazon vibrate with life, like gigantic greenery, and, who knows, even something supernatural. Amazon is beating like a giant, in harmony with the nature of the region. For every leaf that falls, new life emerges, and thus the forest is constantly renewed, following the cycles that only nature can set. Imagine the invisible dance between trees and rivers, animals and insects, each playing their part in keeping the ecosystem alive. This delicate balance is the essence of the forest, a rhythm that goes back thousands of years, adapted and improved by Mother Nature herself. A forest is not just a collection of trees. It is a living, breathing, and functioning organism. One of the most interesting phenomena is the flying rivers, streams of air that leave the forest and travel through the skies, carrying moisture to other areas. These invisible rivers carry millions of liters of water, and they influence the weather in neighboring countries. This interesting country, where the Amazon acts as a source of life even for remote areas, is proof of how everything here has a function. It is as if each leaf is connected, creating a beneficial cycle even thousands of kilometers away. After all, who would have thought that the popularity of the word will affect the whole of another nation? The secret behind this work is the unique interaction between flora and fauna. Large trees not only create shade for small plants, but release moisture that together creates constant humidity in the air. Insects, birds, and even small fungi contribute to this natural symphony, where each element is important. Without insects that eat dust, without birds that spread seeds, the forest will lose part of its power. This cycle is interesting because it shows us how nature knows, naturally, how to balance itself. Amazon teaches in every detail that even the smallest lives make a difference. And so, each child is connected with the next, in a complex network that seems to plan. There is nothing there about interest. Everything has a reason. From the tallest tree to the smallest insect, each life follows the songs of the forest, as if obeying a silent command. And we ask ourselves, what else does this forest, with its perfect curves and special balance, still stand for. We will delve deeper to see what else this secret land has to reveal about the lost civilizations hidden in the midst of this endless greenery. Deep in the Amazon, there are signs of ancient civilizations that seem challenging and surprising. Traces of people who lived there long before any modern record appear as remnants of a forgotten past. There are subtle traces, almost like secret signs left in the ground. Mysterious buildings, paths hidden by vegetation, and even the remains of large villages. These signs allow us to observe the dynamic and intelligent life of these people who, without the technologies we know today, dominate the forest. Who are they, and how are they able to live in harmony with such a wonderful creature? Among the most enigmatic discoveries is the famous Indian terra preta, a fertile soil created by unknown but very effective methods. This house, which has elements and of mysterious origin, spreads over specific areas of the forest and is a mystery to modern science. Many believe that this building may be the key to understanding how these civilizations grew food and supported large populations. In times of research about countries showing different agricultural methods, what we know about this dark land makes us ask if these people know agricultural secrets that cannot be corrected until crocodile. Theories about the lost civilizations of the Amazon point to complex societies, possibly with advanced knowledge in areas such as astronomy and architecture. Some researchers argue that these cultures already had a social structure and understanding of natural cycles that transcended many civilizations of their time. Imagine a people who, without big cities or great monuments, use the forest itself as their home and temple. For them, perhaps there is no concept of controlling nature, but rather flowing with it, in a symbiosis that turns the environment into an extension of their own identity. And so, the forest keeps these memories in silence, protecting the stories and secrets of these civilizations. Today, archaeologists and explorers are trying to understand what remains, and to understand what really happened. But, no matter how far we have gone, it seems that Amazon still has a lot to hide, as if it wants to keep these mysteries forever. As we go deeper, we approach those who keep these secrets even more directly, the isolated tribes that exist in this forest, and those who carry the heritage of these ancient people in their culture. Isolated parts of the Amazon live in quiet harmony with the forest, as if they were part of the secret of the Father. They are the true custodians of wisdom from ancient times. These communities, who chose isolation as a means of maintaining their way of life, live in a reality far from any modern technology. Their traditions, passed down from generation to generation, bring knowledge about the forest beyond what science can understand. For them, Amazon is not just a place, it is a living soul that guides each step. Communication between these tribes is done through signs and sounds that only they understand. Between the dense vegetation and the sounds of the forest, these locals know how to find their way around, as if an almost magical idea guides them. When the explorer tries to approach, it is common for the tribes to disappear into the forest without leaving a trace, a skill that is like a game between the visible and the invisible. These people know that the forest is their only true friend, and there they have sought protection against the strangers who threaten their world. For the tribes, each tree, river, and animal carries a spirit, a soul. There is a respect, and even a fear for the forest, because for them, there are invisible forces that control the balance of life. In tribal rituals, these forces are respected, and the tribal shaman is often the one who communicates directly with the invisible. He is the healer, the mediator between man and the forest, the embodiment of all the wisdom of the ancestors. For those who are curious about the curiosity of the country, this fact allows us to show how the Amazon takes, in each version, the importance of a way of life that respects what we cannot see. These isolated structures are, in a sense, the missing link to the ancient people who lived in the forest. They carry in their blood 20 civilizations that we cannot fully understand. And so, with their stories, legends, and traditions, they continue to preserve the spirit of the forest and keep the secrets of their ancestors. Each species, isolated in its own place, invites us to ask, what else does the forest hold? Perhaps it is among the plants and herbs that these people use that the secrets of natural medicine begin to emerge. In the Amazon, each plant seems to carry a special wisdom, as if the forest itself is a natural chamber for healing and medicines. For indigenous peoples, leaves, roots, and flowers are not just plants. They are spirits that give healing and protection. It is located among dense trees and small bushes of leaves that are capable of treating everything from wounds to serious illnesses. These plants are called forest medicines, natural secrets that often even modern medicine can explain. What we do know is that the Amazon has formulas that have the power to restore and even preserve life. Many of these plants have been studied over the years by scientists who, as curious as the explorers of the past, tried to uncover the mysteries of their properties. One of the most well-known is ayahuasca, a sacred drink used by shamans in spiritual healing and self-awareness processes. For those who practice into this experience, ayahuasca is not just a drink, but a journey into the imagination, where we can find answers and cures. For those who seek great national curiosity, getting to know these plants is like a glimpse of a world where nature and the human spirit walk side by side. Today, the research of these plants goes beyond curiosity. He turned to science, seeking to understand how things found in medicine can cure diseases. Many modern medicines are inspired by the properties of these Amazonian plants. For example, the bark of a tree called cinchona produces quinine, an important drug against malaria. This is one of the examples that show us how abundant the forest is in giving healing. But, as the tribes have taught us, nature is generous to those who treat it with respect. And so, with the discovery of each plant, more secrets are revealed and more questions arise. The Amazon makes us angry with the thought that maybe there are plants there that look at diseases that we don't know how to treat. He guards his knowledge like a master of silence, revealing it only to those who are ready to understand. And perhaps, in the mysterious creatures that inhabit these lands, there are even answers to the balance between man and nature. Among the sounds and shadows of the Amazon jungle, almost hidden mythical creatures dance between the real and the unimaginable. For those who walk these green paths, each step can bring a surprise, from colorful birds that seem to have come out of a dream to large insects that are scary. The animal diversity of the Amazon is like a gallery of unusual creatures, some of them so rare that they seem to defy logic. And it is these encounters with animals that don't even look like real animals that arouse curiosity and fascination with the unknown. Among these creatures is the famous giant anaconda, a snake that hides in the calm water, but it always causes fear in those who see it. Stories of encounters with anacondas have been passed from mouth to mouth. Some say they can reach huge sizes, enough to swallow an adult man. This snake is almost legendary, a symbol of the power of the forest that cannot be ignored. For those looking for a national curiosity that is frightening and fascinating at the same time, the anaconda is a living legend that represents the invisible but powerful presence of nature. But the anaconda is not the only creature in history. There are reports of animals thought to be extinct elsewhere, but which are said to be still alive in remote areas of the Amazon, away from prying eyes. This natural sanctuary seems to have secrets from the past, with creatures that escaped extinction and now live in hiding. Giant turtles, rare birds, and birds with large plumage are some of the treasures that hide themselves in the forest. surviving in a world that seems to have been forgotten for time. And with each legend, the forest is surrounded by mystery. For those who dare to venture there, the simple act of walking in the Amazon is an invitation to discover creatures that the outdoors may not know about. Because, in the end, the forest decides who knows and who doesn't. The magic of animals and their myths take our thoughts to the spiritual side, to the role of shamanism and ancestral knowledge, which is kept as a secret to respect and learn. Shamanism in the Amazon is more than a practice. It is a deep connection between people and the invisible mysteries of the forest. Shamans, the rightful figures in the tribes, are those who walk between the physical and spiritual worlds, understanding the forces that govern nature. They see the forest as a living being, where each tree and river carries a soul. In their traditions, they not only cure diseases, but also unite the body and soul with the power of the forest, as if the interpreters of the language that only they understand. It is a skill that cannot be taught in books. It is passed from generation to generation with deep respect. Shamans use psychoactive plants, such as ayahuasca, in rituals that take participants on a journey of self-awareness and spiritual healing. For those who have experienced it before, the attraction is of entering a world where the boundaries between body and spirit dissolve. These rituals, guided with precision by shamans, are a journey into the unknown, where fears are faced and answers are found. This deep knowledge about plants, their effects and thoughts, is a practical example of how shamanism incorporates respect for the forest and its elements, transforming a simple plant into a portal to the psyche. Dancing, chanting, and body painting are part of the ritual. Every detail is carefully considered to connect the tribe to the invisible universe that surrounds them. During these ceremonies, shamans are believed to become bridges between the human and spiritual worlds, bringing messages and guidance that can heal and protect the environment. For them, the forest is not only an environment, but a sanctuary. And so, shamanism works as a link between the secrets of the forest and human understanding, bringing to light that science is still trying to understand. It is in this space between the visible and the invisible that shamans live, preserving rituals and practices that seem to be against logic. When we observe the respect they have for nature and the knowledge it gives them, we are led to think about what we can learn from this unity. And who knows, as we go deeper into this spiritual world, maybe we will discover answers to ancient mysteries, such as the legend of El Dorado, the city of gold that fascinated and still fascinates the world. Since the days of the Great Voyage, the legend of El Dorado has fascinated adventurers and explorers who risked everything for the promise of gold hidden in the Amazon jungle. Many believe that there is a shining city, a kingdom made of real gold where we do not know the forest. Powerful men, from kings to conquerors, sent expeditions to find us, interested in the idea of unparalleled wealth. The Amazon, with its great rivers and tall trees, seems like the perfect place for such a prehistoric civilization. But with each failed expedition, the history of El Dorado has a new chapter. The stories about El Dorado say that it is a city where everything shines, and the king himself bathed in gold dust, becoming almost 1,000. The explorers, blinded by the desire to find this treasure, faced the dangers of the forest. Many are lost in the depths of the Amazon, consumed by the rainforest and its mysteries. These men did not think that the forest itself would be their true enemy, guarding their secrets with infinite fierceness. And so, the name El Dorado became synonymous with endless ambition and unfathomable mysteries. Some legends suggest that El Dorado may not have been a city of gold, but rather a spiritual symbol for the native people. For them, the truth is not in metals, but in balance and respect for the forest. According to this perspective, El Dorado represents a state of harmony, an ideal of life in communion with nature, far from material desires. This definition offers another view in the search for the unknown, making us reflect on the real value of what we call treasure. And, who knows, maybe Amazon's biggest secret is actually this ancestral wisdom. The expeditions in search of El Dorado have raised more questions than answers. Each piece of gold found is a legend. Each disappearance adds to the mystery. And while the forest continues to become what many call a treasure, it also resists anyone who tries to reveal its past. Who knows, as we explore today's threats to Amazon, we may better understand what it means to keep a priceless secret. The Amazon, which once stood untouched for centuries, today faces an urgent threat and destruction: fire and deforestation. Every year, hectares of forest disappear, taking with them various living things and the knowledge of our ancestors that we can never get back. The importance of these trees goes beyond history because their ecological role is fundamental to the way of life of the forest. They offer shelter to countless animals and plants, creating an ecosystem in their branches and roots. From small insects to rare birds, many species depend on these trees to survive. In a world where national research is increasingly becoming science, these trees represent a real living laboratory. They are what help control the climate and keep the soil fertile, ensuring that the forest continues to flourish for generations. And so, each ancestral tree becomes a link between the past and the present, a natural monument that holds the essence of the Amazon. As we explore their stories, we are led to think about what else the forest hides. And it is with this respect that we go forward, meet the researchers who are attracted by these mysteries, have entered the forest, and often do not return, lost in the arms of the forest. The Amazon has stories of explorers who were intrigued by its mysteries, plunged into its depths, and never found it. Since the beginning of the colony, brave men have entered the forest in search of wealth, glory, and scientific research. Many of these are scientists, geologists, and scientists, eager to document all the details of the world's largest forest. But the forest, like a silent guardian, swallowed their feet and became the fate of many. Thus, their stories become legends, which further reinforces the mystery surrounding this uninhabited land. One of the most famous cases is that of British Prime Minister Percy Fawcett, who disappeared in 1925 while searching for the legendary city Z, a civilization believed to be hidden in the heart of the Amazon. Fawcett's journey is surrounded by theories and speculation, as he leaves no trace of his location. Some say he was captured by enemy units, others believe he found what he was looking for and decided to remain a secret. Whatever the truth, his disappearance has become a warning, and a warning to those who have the courage to explore this unknown land. A few stories from the survivors of these journeys show how forgiving the Amazon can be. Starvation, tropical diseases, and encounters with dangerous animals are some of the challenges that explorers face when trying to cross this green expanse. Reports of men wandering for weeks, without guidance, living off what they could find, show the struggle for survival in a place where nature itself seems to test their every step. The forest does not tolerate neglect, and those who forget it often become part of its eternal shadows. These stories of mysterious disappearances lead us to question what Amazon really hides. Are your secrets protected by invisible forces that protect your wealth and knowledge? Perhaps, among the inexplicable lights that many report seeing in the Amazon sky, there is an answer to the fate of those who never came back. Who knows what lies there, waiting to be discovered, in the silent nights where the forest murmurs its mysteries? The impact of this destruction is not limited to fallen trees, but encompasses all life systems, from small insects to rivers that cut through fertile soil. When a forest is cut down, the delicate balance between the species that live there is disrupted, and the loss is felt far beyond Brazil's borders. The destruction of the forest also represents the loss of a large field of scientific research, a national curiosity involving plants and organisms with unexplored medicinal potential. Many of the drugs and medicines we use today have come from species native to the Amazon, and we believe that many other drugs may be hiding there. Imagine what can be seen if we protect this natural wisdom. But instead, we see a devastating fire turning this wealth into ashes, and the forest that once breathed in it burns under the destructive heat of the fire. Fire and deforestation also affect indigenous communities, who depend on the forest for food, shelter, and spirituality. For these people, losing the Amazon is like losing a part of themselves. Like the connection they have with the earth is deep and sacred. Many tribes consider the forest to be their mother, provider, and protector who gives them everything they need. Seeing a broken home is an open wound, a painful reminder that unrestrained progress can cost too much. And for them, each lost tree is a departed soul. The fight to save the Amazon is a global effort and a responsibility that falls on all of us. These are resistance movements, conservation practices, and environmental policies that offer hope in the midst of destruction. While the forest is still burning, new defenders of nature emerge, people and organizations that see the forest as the treasure it truly is. And so, we continue to discover the powerful beings that inhabit this forest, like the ancient trees that bear witness to generations and keep their own stories. The ancient trees of the Amazon stand like tall towers, watching the passing centuries with silent wisdom. Some of these trees are over 1,000 years old, with wood so wide that holding them together seems impossible. They are truly natural colossi, witnesses of a history that unfolded long before the arrival of the first explorers. Each tree has secrets, as if they were books written by time. For forest people, these trees are not just part of the landscape. They are ancient spirits, creatures that carry the memory of the forest and everything that lives in it. In native cultures, spirits are believed to inhabit these giant trees as unseen protectors of nature. These stories tell of forces that protect the forest and protect those who respect them, while punishing those who disrespect them. In rituals and ceremonies, these figures are respected and treated with deep respect. For them, each ancestor tree is a guardian who maintains the balance between the visible and invisible world. And there are those who say that when you put your ear to the trunk of one of these trees, you can hear the waves of life, as if the whole forest was breathing with them. In the Amazon, those who believe that the sky has secrets as mysterious as the forest itself. Reports of strange lights and unexplained events have become common among locals and researchers who swear they have seen the impossible. There are reports of fires moving in complex patterns, disappearing suddenly, or even appearing to crawl over treetops. For many, these events are more than just the appearance of stars. They are signs from other worlds. The forest, which is already a mystery, seems to draw its secrets to the sky, inviting those who dare to look up. Studies of interdimensional portals and encounters with beings from other worlds abound in the Amazon. There are those who say that certain areas of the forest have unusual powers, places where reality seems distorted. Native tribes have their own explanations, believing that these events are manifestations of ancestral spirits, protectors of the forest, who reveal themselves only to those who deserve to see them. For these cultures, the supernatural is as real as trees and rivers, and unexplained phenomena are otherworldly curiosities that defy science. Researchers have already tried to explain some of these phenomena, attributing the fires to gases that accumulate in swampy areas and react with the air. But for those who witness these events, scientific explanations are often not enough. Many explorers report a feeling of presence when they see these lights, as if something beyond their understanding is watching them. Amazon seems to have its own way of reminding men that not everything can be explained, keeping its mysterious appearances as a reminder that the unknown is there, hidden. These lights and surprises are just a glimpse of what Amazon brings. Between the meeting of the water and the intertwining of roots, the mystery goes far beyond the visible, challenging our perception and inviting us to discover the inexplicable. As we explore this world of enigmas, we come across a power that transcends water. The legendary meeting between the rivers Negro and Solimois, where nature shows the emergence of contrasts. In the heart of the Amazon, a natural scene occurs that impresses even the most unbelievers: the meeting of the waters of the Negro and the Solimois rivers. When these giants meet, their waters run side by side for miles, without mixing. On the one hand, the dark and dense water of the Rio Negro, almost like a veil of mystery. On the other, the muddy and yellow waters of Solimois, full of sediments and stories. This event, where two different streams come together without losing their characteristics, is the devotion of the countries of few places in the world. This difference has scientific explanations. Differences in temperature, speed, and density of water prevent them from mixing quickly. But, for those who witness this place live, it is difficult to be satisfied with science alone. It seems that each river tells a different story. When they meet together, they create a silent conversation, a dance that carries the essence of the forest. This meeting is not only physical, it is also a symbol of the dualities and mysteries that exist in the Amazon. A visual reminder that there, the forces of nature show themselves in different ways. For the indigenous cultures of the region, the meeting of the water has a mystical meaning. Some believe that Rio Negro and Solimois are representatives of the gods or ancestral spirits, who meet to emphasize their power and balance. Legends say that this event is a meeting between beings from different worlds, each bringing their own stories and abilities. These beliefs bring even greater respect for this environment, where purity and natural interaction are in a harmonious way. It seems that, in the eyes of local people, this scene is a message that the Amazon has secrets that only those with awareness can see. Thus, when we observe the meeting of water, we are made to think deeply about the wonderful things and other dangers that the forest hides. It is a change that, for explorers, can represent the way to a new level where more enigmatic creatures, such as snakes and forest insects, begin to appear, showing that the Amazon is, in fact, a world that different. In the depths of the Amazon, life thrives in all possible forms, including those that send shivers down your spine. Insects and snakes stand out as some of the most feared inhabitants of this vast and mysterious forest. The variety of insects is almost endless, from happy butterflies to poisonous ants that make anyone think twice before stepping on a fallen branch. The Amazon, with its amazing biodiversity, is a stage where small creatures carry powerful toxins and ancient secrets. Each species seems to have a function, a purpose for being in this ecosystem. Among the snakes, we find some of the most feared, such as Surucucu and Jararaca, who hide themselves well among the leaves and roots, ready to defend themselves. They say that crossing the path of these snakes is like entering a forbidden territory, where only the most attentive are left unscathed. For the indigenous people, these snakes represent the silent power of the forest, creatures that work without warning, maintaining the balance between life and death. In the Amazon, the relationship with these animals is one of respect and caution, as if everyone knows that the forest does not forgive the lack of attention. These risks, however, are accepted by forest dwellers as part of natural harmony. Native people know how to avoid these unwanted encounters, know every sound, every warning sign. They know the specific sound of a venomous snake, and they know how to read the signals left by a snake that has just passed by. For visitors, however, the curiosity of a country becomes a test of survival, where even the smallest mistake can mean death. Learning to live with these creatures means understanding that the Amazon dictates its own rules, and that the creatures within it play their part in life. And so, the forest continues to challenge all those who dare to explore it. Each copy, no matter how small, carries the essence of Amazon within itself. And, as we delve deeper into these secrets, we find even greater legends, such as that of the legendary snake that, according to local traditions, protects the spirit of the forest itself, that represents the depth and power that only the brave face. In the Amazon culture, there is a legend that has been passed down for generations, that of the big cobra, or boyuna, a gigantic creature that is said to live in rivers and streams of the forest. This legendary snake, according to the stories, will be able to dominate the water and even change its shape to confuse those who attack its territory. For the native people, the great serpent is not just an animal, is the guardian spirit of the forest, a force that protects the natural balance and punishes those who threaten it. It is a symbol of the indomitable power of the Amazon, a presence that is frightening and fascinating at the same time. The accounts of boyuna vary, but they all share a sense of reverence and awe. Some say that it is so big that when swimming, it creates waves that are strong enough to overturn boats and ships. There are stories of fishermen who, when they approach certain areas of the rivers, the deep and mysterious sounds of the snake coming out, as if they were a warning to avoid. For many local residents, crossing the path of the Cobra Grande is disrespectful to the spirit of the forest. And so, this myth grows, giving the imagination of those who live and respect the forest. The myth of the great serpent also represents the power of the Amazon rivers, which can be beautiful and deceptive at the same time. These rivers, the source of life for the forest, carry a power beyond human understanding. In shamanic tradition, boyuna appears as a spirit who maintains the waterway, ensuring that the forest is fertile and alive. For them, this mythical snake is a reminder that the Amazon is not a place that can be conquered. It is a place that requires respect and balance. Anyone who dares to challenge him, they say, will pay a high price. Therefore, the legend of the great serpent leads us to a deep reflection on the Amazon and its mysteries. Each story, each legend, supports the idea that this forest is protected by forces beyond our understanding. And as science tries to understand this vast area, more secrets are discovered. As scientific research seeks to understand the unique creatures and natural wonders of the forest. The Amazon is a sanctuary for scientists and researchers, a natural laboratory where each discovery opens doors to new knowledge. When wandering through the forest, scientists, biologists, and scientists encounter species of plants and animals that have not yet been catalogued, as if nature itself keeps an endless supply of secrets. For science, each tree, each insect, represents a piece of a puzzle that shows how life works in its purest form. The Amazon now becomes the center of world attention, attracting those who seek to understand the mysteries of this unique ecosystem. Among the most exciting discoveries are new types of plants with medicinal potential. Modern science already knows that many of these plants have substances that are capable of treating serious illnesses. And to think that, for local tribes, this knowledge has already existed for centuries. It is a national curiosity that few have as much as they deserve. Each study conducted in the forest reinforces the idea that the Amazon is a living library of natural medicines, a legacy that needs to be preserved. If we know what it can truly give us, we will treat this forest as the treasure it is. But the work of scientists in the Amazon is not easy. The dense, humid forest, with its unstable terrain and unpredictable climate, challenges even the most experienced. Resources are lost, journeys are extended, and each search comes at a high price. However, These challenges do not stop new researchers from reaching out year after year, eager to discover the unknown. They know that the Amazon plays an important role in the global ecological balance, and that every piece of forest that disappears represents an irreversible loss to human knowledge. As scientists progress, artifacts and symbols have been revealed, left by ancient civilizations that lived in harmony with the forest. It is as if science and history merge, paving the way to better understand our past and preserve our future. And so, we continue to the mysterious artifacts, proof that perhaps the Amazon is home to cultures that have knowledge that delight us to this day. In the depths of the Amazon, explorers and scientists have found things that defy modern understanding. Mysterious artifacts, carved stones and symbols, traces of ancient cultures that is in the forest. These findings suggest that the Amazon was once home to civilizations with advanced knowledge long before any European presence. It is as if the forest has been guarding its own treasures and protecting them for centuries. For those who believe in ancient lost civilizations, these artifacts are proof that the Amazon becomes more than we can imagine, maybe even a national exploration that only time can reveal. These symbols, which often resemble ancient languages, trouble researchers. Some archaeologists believe that they represent astronomical maps, star alignments, or even records of contact between distant tribes. For local tribes, many of these symbols have spiritual meanings and represent the connection between humanity and the forest deities. It's interesting to think that every drawing, every mark on a stone, could be a coded message from a time when we saw the world in a completely different way, where nature and spirit were inseparable. Among these discoveries, there are also thoughts that the Amazon will have been influenced by cultures from distant countries. Objects, with patterns similar to those found in other areas of the world, make it possible that ancient explorers had arrived there long before the great expeditions. This hypothesis, however controversial, will give new life to scholars who believe in the global connection between civilizations. With each new artifact discovered, the Amazon reveals itself as a true explorer, a place where the past speaks, but in a language we don't fully understand. And while scientists and historians struggle to explain these symbols, the forest reminds us that their protection does not depend on academic knowledge alone. It is also a matter of respect for the communities who still live in harmony with these mysteries, who see the forest as home and sacred. And so, we continue to discover how these people cope, preserving the heritage of the ancient times and protecting the forest with their own lives. The people of the Amazon jungle, which has many indigenous tribes, are true custodians of a legacy that has endured for centuries. Amid external pressures and threats of destruction, they preserve the culture of their ancestors, their culture, and deep connection to the land. For these communities, the forest is not just a resource. It is your identity, your story, and your faith. A forest represents more than a house. It is the essence of your life, the place where your stories, knowledge, and spirit are within the roots of the tree. Protecting this area is, for them, a lifelong mission. The resistance of these people is a daily struggle, facing everything from the advance of illegal loggers to the fires that destroy their land. They raise their voices in defense of the forest, holding protests, demanding rights, and making alliances with environmentalists who share their cause. However, the challenges are many. For indigenous people, each damaged land is a personal loss, a place where their ancestors rested, where their children learned, and where they practiced traditions. For them, protecting the forest is a sacred obligation, a promise that this legacy will continue. In their environment, we see sustainable agricultural practices and respect for natural cycles, an example of harmonious coexistence that challenges the modern exploitation model. They only harvest what they need, always knowing that the forest needs time to regenerate itself. This relationship with the land is a lesson for the world, a national curiosity that shows a way of life where nature is not something that dominates, but rather understanding and respect. For these tribes, the forest is a mother who provides everything but demands protection and love. These people continue to resist, even in the face of many obstacles. And, as they protect the forest, they remind us that the Amazon is more than a collection of trees and animals. It is a cultural and spiritual heritage, a heritage that needs to be preserved. And on quiet forest nights, the monsters make noises through the trees, perhaps as a reminder of what is at stake. The forest has a voice, and we want to hear it. Deep in the Amazon, the night reveals things that defy any logical explanation. It was as if the forest itself was speaking, causing mysterious murmurs and noises to emerge from among the trees, causing curiosity and fear to those who fled into its shadow. The indigenous people in the past learned to respect these sounds, believing them to be the voices of the spirits in the forest. For them, these inexplicable things represent an unseen presence, a reminder that great powers are out there, watching, guarding the unity of this unique world. Reports of strange and disturbing things are common among explorers and locals alike. Many describe the noises of metal as if they were hidden machines working underground, while others spoke of cries and music that seemed to come from all sides, but without a clear origin. It was as if the forest had a life of its own, a creature that breathed and spoke in a mysterious language. And, for those looking for a truly fascinating land of curiosity, these things offer an experience beyond comprehension, something that makes us question what we really know about the Amazon. There are scientific theories that try to explain these sounds, suggesting that they may be caused by underground water movements or rock vibrations. But, for those who hear them live, the feeling is being in the presence of something supernatural, something not of this world. Some scientists, when recording these sounds, even reported a disturbance, as if they were fighting a secret that should be kept hidden. The forest keeps its reasons, and each object seems to bring a message with it, a reminder that, despite advances in science, there are things that can be completely explained. And so, the forest continues to speak in an indecipherable language that hurts and scares those who try to understand it. Each mysterious thing that speaks at night takes us to a world where wisdom gives way to the unknown, and where water holds secrets as deep as their medicines and traditions. And among the plants and herbs that grow there, perhaps more than simple cures are hidden. Perhaps they are guarding the spirit of the forest. They are waiting for those who respect his voice. In the Amazon, water has a sacred meaning and is seen as a source of healing and purity. For local tribes, rivers and lakes have special properties, being used in spiritual purification and physical strengthening processes. These medicinal waters, often containing specific leaves and roots, become true herbal medicines, capable of relieving pain and even curing illnesses. In a world where there is an increasing amount of national research in the search for natural remedies, these waters are a treasure that represents the ancestral wisdom of the forest people. Purification rituals go beyond physical health. They also aim at spiritual renewal. Led by shamans, these rituals generally take place in isolated areas close to the water, where the participants are taken to dive, washing away not only themselves, but negative energies. It is a process that brings emotional relief and connects with nature. For these people, the Amazon is a true source of balance, and each culture is an affirmation of respect and a deep connection with the local community. Some of the plants used in these rituals have shown medicinal properties, such as sarsaparilla, which helps to detoxify the body, and jaborandi, known for its regenerative properties. Combined with clean river water, these plants become powerful elixirs that support local health. This ancient knowledge is passed down from generation to generation, preserving the tradition of natural healing against time and modernity. It is knowledge that shows the power of the Amazon beyond its beauty, a source of life and healing. Thus, the rituals of purification with water and herbs show us that the forest is not only a place of mysteries, but also of rebirth. And as we explore these sacred places, we realize that life in the forest is a delicate balance, where each part is important to the overall harmony. This balance is so important that for forest people, each species has a special role. It's a real circle of life that supports Amazon and those who live in partnership with it. The Amazon is an example of perfect balance, where every form of life, no matter how small, plays an important role in the ecosystem. From insects that pollinate plants to large predators that control populations, all elements are linked in an intricate network of dependencies. This balance is so delicate that any change can cause a chain reaction, affecting everything from the soil to the climate. For the people of the forest, this unity is sacred, and they respect this circle deeply, living and taking only what they need to survive. The extinction of a species can have devastating consequences for the ecosystem as a whole. For example, if a species of pollinator becomes extinct, many plants that depend on it to reproduce may also become extinct. This difference affects not only the flowers, but also the animals that depend on these plants for food. The forest teaches us that survival is not based on strength, but on trust. Each species has its purpose, and together they form the beating heart of the Amazon, a national curiosity that offers a true lesson on the importance of cooperation and balance. Traditional wisdom understands this in a way that contradicts modern thinking. They see the forest as a living creature, where each creature has a soul and a special function. Indigenous peoples know forest cycles like no one else in terms of harvest times and species regeneration. Their sustainable practices are a valuable lesson for the world, which is always seeking to dominate nature rather than integrate with it. In times of deforestation and exploitation, this vision is a reminder that there is true power in preserving nature in its pure state. This balance is what allows the forest to continue to thrive and life to renew each season. And as we learn from this collaboration, we are invited to think about the future of the secrets of the Amazon and what we need to do to protect this treasure for generations to come. Every tree, every river, every creature asks us to be custodians of this priceless wealth, making sure that the forest's future is as rich as its past. The future of Amazon is an enigma as deep as the secrets it holds in its roots. With every tree that falls, we don't just lose trees or fertile soil. We are losing part of our own history, the ancient wisdom of the people, and the spirits that the forest has saved. The preservation of the Amazon is a responsibility that falls on all of us, and its future will depend on the choices we make now. Will we be remembered as the generation that protected this unique wealth, or those who allowed its destruction? Protecting the Amazon is not a matter of preserving biodiversity, but of honoring the people who live there and who preserve in their cultures the secrets of natural balance. These people know that the forest has a value beyond materials, a value that can only be understood, experienced. For them, each leaf, each river, and each object is part of their own being, and losing them would be an irreparable loss. They are the custodians of a world that is still trying to teach us what true respect for life is. There is also the medicinal, ecological, and spiritual value of the forest, whose water, plants, and soils carry energy that science is only beginning to explore. This knowledge, however, may be lost if there is no effort to protect the ecosystem that supports these findings. Amazon is a treasure that goes beyond a simple national curiosity. It is the source of life that gives the world a chance for healing and renewal. A gift we cannot afford to lose. As we look to the future, it is up to us to decide what role we want to play in keeping this secret. Amazon is calling us, as it did to explorers and ancient people. But now your call is to protect it. It is up to each of us to respond, ensuring that the forest, with all its secrets, continues to be available to those who come to find it, allowing its stories and mysteries to continue to inspire and fascinate.
Hey explorers, if you love discovering the amazing curiosities and stories we share here on Exploring Nations, how about supporting the channel with just $1? This small gesture can make a big difference and is essential to keep this content going. Without your support, our journey might be cut short. And there's more. When you shop on Amazon, use our special link. It costs you nothing extra, plus you get an exclusive discount and it helps us out a lot. The links for donations and Amazon are pinned in the first comment. Don't let this adventure stop, we're counting on you. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like, and drop us a comment.